Okay. Today is dance day. I'm going to do the very first Chopin waltz. Let me take my page in before something happens. That's why I keep this tape near the piano, because so much of my music is so old that it just starts showing its age. All right. Okay, going to do the first Chopin waltz. It's in E flat. There's a whole big discussion about whether Chopin wrote these waltzes for people to actually dance. And all this debate goes on. Frankly, I don't understand why people have this either or approach to things. If you play the thing rhythmically without any rubato for dancers, then certainly people can dance to it. I don't see what about that tune is undanceable. But, all of these, if you play it more freely and expressively in a more concert style, then everybody knows when you're dancing, rhythmic variation and rubatos and stuff kill the dance step. So I don't understand why it's an and or. It's just how you play it. Since we have no dancers, I am going to take a more Chopin-esque type approach to it. These waltz were written between 1840 and 1843, I believe. Frankly, they were an exercise for Chopin to make money. They're all dedicated to various female admirers of Chopin. And in the 19th century aristocratic world of France, despite the French Revolution, when you received a dedication like this, you rewarded the composer with a gift. Maybe nothing so crass as money, but with something that was valuable. Which is something that actually reminds me of a story, which I will tell quite quickly. One of the great pianists of the 20th century was a Brazilian woman named Guilherme Novaes, and she would come every year to New York and do a recital. And tickets for this recital were sold out like years in advance. And all the big names would come to hear her. You'd go to hear her, and sitting in the audience would be Rachmaninoff and Arthur Rubinstein and all the big pianists of the day. And she would always play a recital for the Astors. But the Astors never did anything as crass as paying her. What they would do is on every white note of the keyboard would be a pearl. And they would start at the bottom from the smallest and go to the largest in the middle and back to the smallest. And every year she would have a necklace made out of these pearls. And the one she didn't use, I'm sure that she sold and made quite a bit of money, because these were not fake pearls. These were genuine pearls. So, but nothing as crass as the exchange of money took place. And it was the same thing with Chopin. He probably received, a sum of free rental and board at a summer estate of one of these women, or they made him a gift of a carriage and horses. But he did it for evil lucre. Okay, so I'm going to play the first one. It's in E flat. Like all waltzes, and very much like ragtime, it's made up of different sections. number 10, which is a posthumous release, Opus 69, number 2. So quite a bit later than Opus, did I say 18? Yes, than Opus 18. A very sort of typical Chopin sort of melancholy, slow waltz. And one of the 12 Spanish dances for the piano by Granados. So I said last time I played Granados, he and his wife drowned when the Lusitania was torpedoed by the Germans in World War I. This is number 5. He doesn't tell you what type of a dance it is. It's in 6/8, and it's obviously a very lively little Spanish dance. Again, it's got this sort of ostinato in the bass. That runs through the whole piece. So, so obviously got guitars and castanets and flamenco skirts and all that sort of stuff. So it's obviously a very lively dance. He says the tempo is andantino quasi allegro. So a little, kind of like a fast walking tempo. And last but not least, probably the most famous ragtime of all time, Scott Joplin's Maple Leaf Rag. We're also familiar with it that we all tend to forget what a wonderfully crafted little tune this is. It's just a great little tune, very simple chord modulations and a little bit of chromaticism. I mean, he could have just written. Would have been perfectly acceptable, but you know, he just adds that little teeny bit of chromaticism. You know, and he does it all through the piece, switches from major to minor in these very inventive ways. You know, just really, really wonderfully inventive and tuneful and really put together piece, which is another reason you should not play it, you know, terribly fast. You know, I can't tell you how many students have come in and, you know, and it's like, no, everything goes by in a blur. You know, you miss all the good stuff. So, and again, he says the piece is in a march tempo. I don't know if you can see this cover, but this is the original cover with some very dapperly dressed African Americans with, you know, this second fellow actually has a little flower decoration on his cane. There's a word for it, but I've forgotten what it's called. When a woman does it, it's a corsage, but when a man does it, it's called something else. But, you know, it's a very, you know, obviously, Joplin envisions these people, you know, in a stately march, promenading through some boardwalk or something. You know, so the piece just loses, I think, a lot of its charm if you go too fast. Published in 1899 by John Stark and Sons in Sedalia, Missouri, which is where Joplin was living in 1899.